She is here in Switzerland. I think you've been here for about a week or 10 days now, doing seminars, and she will explain what it is. And also Dr.Suman was been writing and promoting this. I thought they gave several options for themes, and I thought this was a very good theme for us, for conscious leadership, because I think all of us, in one way or the other, need to cultivate this capacity to work and to lead both within and outside the organization. So I hand it over to you, Mr. Swaminathan.
Yes, first, right?
Yeah, sure.
Gajanana Padmarkam Gajanana Maharnisham.
Thank you very much, Master Sunita, and thank you very much, the executive leadership at WHO and all the global leaders in health arena who is driving the health of the humanity right here from this beautiful building. We are truly humbled and honored to be in your presence. In fact, what just Master Sunita sang is called a wake-up raga. So we are all probably tired from the morning, so she's trying to wake us up. And those soothing voice and soothing vibrations, I'm sure, will help us all. So I'm going to quickly go over what is the whole essence of this meditation for conscious leadership, and after that, Master Sunita is going to take over, talk a little bit, and then we're going to have an actual session, practice session, so that when you leave this room, hopefully you'll be able to connect with that conscious leadership, conscious leader within each of you. So before we start the actual presentation, and a few of you who have attended last week's session, you know the importance of the smile. So when you bring this subtle, simple smile on your lips, no matter where your mind is wandering, it drops into the present moment. And 12 years back when I went to learn yoga and meditation from Master Sunita, she didn't teach me any of the yoga or meditation or anything. She said, "Suman, can you simply smile like this?" And I was not sure what she was asking me to do, but I realized the power of this simple smile. Like I said, the first benefit is this monkey mind, which is constantly wandering into the past, into the future, drops into the present moment. And the second thing is the brain is constantly reading the emotion on your face. This is called facial feedback. This was some research done by Charles Darwin in 1800s actually. And the moment you bring that smile, your entire system starts to relax. So I find this a very simple and powerful technique to catch yourself, catch the monkey mind which is wandering, and bring you into the present. And this technique can be used anywhere, anytime. You're driving, you're cooking, you're reading, even when you're working. Just bring that subtle, simple smile and keep working, and you will start to see you'll be a little bit more relaxed and you'll be a lot more in the present. So I request you all to please bring those smiles. Please. Thank you. Like Master Sunita says, it doesn't cost you anything. For everything you have to pay in this world, but the smile is free, right?
No language.
And no language. And if you can, like a lot of people tell me after they come to the workshop, they say, you know what, this is doing wonders, because when I smile, people simply smile back. It's the best thing you could do. So with those smiles, we'll just move on to the conscious journey. If you look at our own existence, we start as this single cell organism. In fact, as evolution, we started with the single cell organism, amoeba, and then that single cell organism, out of love for other cells, out of compassion for other cells, started to come together and become this multicellular complex creature, which we see today called human being. And I see human body and human being as an essence of true conscious leadership, collaboration, cooperation, compassion, working together for a common vision, common mission. Where else can you find a better example than a human body? And not only that, if you look at the human body, there are 10 times more microorganisms in our body than the human cells. Do you know that? Microbiome, there are 10 times more microorganisms than human cells. In fact, we are not human beings but a colony of microorganisms, without which we cannot survive. So look at that collaboration and symbiosis between these microorganisms and human cells. That's conscious leadership right there. But yet, somewhere, we fail as human beings when we start to connect to other human beings within our family, within our organization. And of course, there is a reason for that, and we can always blame evolution for that unconscious leadership that we are kind of doing sometimes. And the footprint of that unconscious leadership is actually hidden in our brain. So the brain that we have, that we see, is not one brain. It's actually made up of 3 different brains because we are a product of evolution. So the base, the orange color that you see there is actually the reptilian brain. This is the remnants of what we used to have as reptiles. And the function of that part of the brain is basic survival instincts, survival of the fittest. Aggression, dominance, feeding, that's a basic survival instinct, no emotions, nothing. And we carry that within us, and we operate from that sometimes. And then the green portion of the brain, if you see, is the limbic system. In fact, that started to evolve as we became mammals. It's called the Paleomammalian Brain. And that's the center for emotions. You have these interesting parts called amygdala and hippocampus, which are constantly triggering this fight or flight reaction, fight or flight response. Because you need that as you're living in a forest, you need that survival mechanism. But unfortunately, we humans tend to live a lot in this part of the brain. And we still continue to live as if we're in a forest with that fear, with that survival instincts. But then we evolved to humans, and that's where we started to build this top portion of the brain called the neocortex, which is in the purple color. And that's the center for self-awareness, self-regulation. Once you know who you are and your emotions, then you can manage your emotions very easily, regulate your emotions. So working on yourself, and that is what I've learned when I came to Master Sunita 12 years back. I had all these complaints, oh, my workplace, my colleagues, my boss, my family, this, that. And all the time I was getting only one answer from her. Suman, work on yourself. Work on yourself. And it has done phenomenal transformations, not only in my family life. I've seen that replicate and resonate in my work environment. The moment you are working on yourself, people start to see that change. And then they get inspired. A lot of the times we tend to kind of push our agenda, push our ideas onto people around us, either at workplace or family. But what I've realized is once you keep working on yourself, then you become an inspiration. People start to derive that and resonate with that inspiration. And then you start to develop empathy so that you're able to recognize others' emotions because now you know who you are. Now you know your strengths. Then you can easily understand and go beyond those reactive responses. And then you can start to manage others' emotions. So this is kind of the foundation of what Sukshma self-compassion healing is. But then a lot of people ask me, so how do I find that self? How do I regulate myself? Because there is this physical body that we see. There is this intellect and emotions which makes up our mind, which we are constantly working with. But then there is this third dimension which we don't care about, nor we have been experienced in that aspect. And that's called the true self. That's that pure awareness. Like I mentioned in my talk last Friday, the same mind that can entangle us and suffocate us has also the ability to witness itself. The moment it starts to witness itself, it gets into the state of silence. And the awareness that you build there is that pure awareness. So when we tap into the pure awareness, then automatically we can start to regulate our emotions because now you are the master. Your mind becomes a tool. So that I, which is there in all of us, is our true self. But unfortunately, we get stuck in that cloud of emotions and reactive states that we live in. So to catch that I, we need to get into our microcosm. And to get into the microcosm, we're going to be talking and practicing about Sukshma self-compassion healing meditation. And what are the elements of it? Self-compassion is at the core. Yes, it is important to show compassion to others and love others, but what Master Sunita says is start with the self. Self-love and self-compassion. Just like a flower which has fragrance in its naturally, can spread the fragrance. So same thing with us. Once you are compassionate and loving with yourself, you can love and show compassion to others. And smile is the foundation. Nobody is smiling. See, we get lost, we get carried away. We get hijacked with this monkey mind. And then we do some subtle physical exercises which you're going to be practicing in a second. We'll like bring attention to the body. Because to tame this mind is not that easy. So we tame the body, we tame the breath to bring attention and concentration and cleanse those emotional toxins that we accumulate. And then through meditation to relax, rejuvenate and realize our true self. And the most important thing is empathy, positive energy and compassion. We need to be building those qualities. So once you start getting into that true self, this is the shift that you'll observe. Conscious leadership is being authentic, being honest, being empathetic, being compassionate, becoming fearless, greater good, purpose. And most importantly, this is what I learned from Master Sunita, is competing with yourself. Most of the times we try to compete with others. Oh, I want to be better than that person or that person. She says, first take yourself as your reference point and elevate, 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 empower, empower. So in fact, when you shift to the conscious leadership, again there is a shift in physiology. You start to trigger the system called parasympathetic nervous system, which is relaxation, rest and digest system. Your entire physiology changes. You start to shift from illness to wellness. So the type of leadership that you provide impacts not the others, but most importantly, yourself. And in fact, there is a fantastic study done by Dr. Barbara Fredrickson. It's one of my favorite studies. There are two types of happiness, eudaimonic happiness and hedonic happiness. The happiness that you derive from self-interest is hedonic happiness. And the happiness that you derive when you are working for others, giving, working with a meaning and purpose is eudaimonic happiness. And the research found that at cellular level, our bodies respond better to a sense of connectedness. So when you do good for others, when you're wishing good for others, when you're helping others and promoting others, they found that even inflammatory markers have actually gone down in this study. Absolutely phenomenal study. So, of course, Dr. Bill George is one of very popular leadership management professors from Harvard University. He's written some amazing books. And he himself has gone through as a vice president at Honeywell and later as a CEO of Medtronic. And he said initially he was also more interested in like power, getting the name and fame and becoming the leader of fame. But then somewhere he realized that there is more to helping others and promoting others and leading with empathy and compassion. And he says the longest journey you'll ever take is from your head to heart. Unconscious leadership to conscious leadership. And he says meditation has been God sent for me. And then if we shift from me to we, is where we can develop conscious leadership. And our systems are built for that. We have something called mirror neurons in our brains, which feel others' pain, suffering. They're also called empathy neurons. Right now, as I'm speaking, all your mirror neurons are triggered and we are all connected. All our nervous systems are connected right now. All that separates from me and you is just this layer of skin. We are one connected self. Once we realize that, it becomes very easy to build conscious leadership. And all it takes is to simply breathe and smile. And we call this the BS formula. Not the other BS. Breathe and smile. And you just take the brain to gym. Thank you very much for your time. Hopefully I would like to invite Master Sunita to take over and give you the pure vibrations, take you to the subtlest of the subtle pure I which is there in each one of us. Thank you. So Sukshma is not Sunita. So Sukshma is a word from ancient Indian language, Sanskrit. It means micro, subtlest of the subtle. There is that subtlest of the subtle vibration in every one of us. The pure inner child is there in all of us, but unfortunately covered with all these things. So what Sunita had done is, she has taken the extract of all these ancient wisdom tools and simplified it for modern chaotic material life with purity and bliss. So now, Sukshma,